Well, I'm assuming that you guys spoke with her about the time commitment, right?
I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, are you asking if I talked to her about her time commitment?
Well, one of you, whoever
Yeah, I
spoke with
did.
her, yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to her because I told her what the responsibilities entail. And I did tell her that currently we have 3 meetings, the general, the board, and the exec. But that I would like to have the board consider the possibility of having 2 meetings rather than 3. And that is a meeting as an exec, maybe a half hour before the general meeting. So she knows it's still going to be 3 or 2. And didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Thank you, Gil.
Any other thoughts or concerns or reflections about Dr. Blacksmith as the potential president-elect?
Well, I think she would be great. I know that after the Thanksgiving luncheon, I had recommended that we consider Dr. Torres as a potential board member. And I haven't talked to him at all. So there is absolutely no expectation. And so I just want to raise his name up now as a potential, maybe just general board member. And then maybe in the future, he could become an officer. Just because he hasn't been to any of our meetings in the last couple of years, I understand that there might be a concern, and Dr. Lourdes has, and I believe that that is more important for someone who's going to come in an officer position already, which is different than just coming on the board in any other capacity. So I just want to make sure that we acknowledge that, but that we also don't forget about Dr. Torres having a conversation about bringing him on the board later either.
Okay.
Did he express any interest, or did anybody broach it with the possibility of serving on the board, or that's just a unilateral suggestion?
It was a unilateral suggestion based on the fact that in a conversation when I sat next to him during the Thanksgiving luncheon, he expressed kind of in fun banter that he doesn't get invited to things anymore. And that he really missed being with us and connecting with people here in Elgin. And I told him, frankly, I said, I'm sure people thought you were too busy with the jobs that you've had in the last several years since you left U46. And he said, well, that's all true, but I still live here in Elgin. And I also learned, and we learned, all of us learned, of course, that he's recently retired. And so all of that put together, over a conversation of 15, 20 minutes led me to think, okay, all right, he wants to be invited back to stuff. And it probably now has the time, because he's recently retired, to be involved, not in another job, but maybe in a board capacity. And I feel that if people heard that he might be invited to join other boards, I mean, it just makes sense to me. And I kind of want to make sure that we be first in line.
He'd be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And, I'm thinking him and Dr. Lourdes together on the board would be 2 huge, powerful additions, which would be really exciting.
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you, Diana, for sharing that. Just in the interest of time, we'll continue moving with the election and the nomination and presentation of the slate. And I'm recording the meeting so that the mention of Dr. Torres as a potential future board member can be included. So I'm not sure, do we have to vote on the nominations? No, everybody kind of gives their approval, and then we reach out to Dr. Blacksmith to see if she accepts, correct?
Right, correct.
Okay, so then for treasurer, we have Diana Ortega Arid, who was nominated and is interested in being in that position for next year. And we do have a vacancy right now for the secretary. Is there anyone that wants to nominate someone to be the secretary?
Gil, you said that you were going to talk to Christina about that.
Yeah, I followed up with her and she said that she's not going to be able to do it,
Oh,
at least not right now. So
okay.
I try. I mean, and she's the one, actually, I didn't even approach her. She approached me. And so I was really hopeful that it could happen. And I think so was she. But I think with the new job now with Grand Victoria, I think she's
Okay.
playing it safe, understandably.
Okay,
But she loves us and would love to be back on our board for sure. So
maybe in the future then.
yeah, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sending Linda the link to join us so she can be here for the voting part. Anyone else have suggestions of people that we could reach out for the secretary position?
I have Rafael Villagomez. He's a realtor slash, I know he's just in the community quite a bit. He tries to be involved in different organizations, but he has attended several of our meetings and he's expressed several times he'd like to be on our board.
Ooh,
Llama Rafael Villagomez.
awesome.
Would you be able to reach out to him and ask if he's interested in a position like the secretary?
Yes, I for sure.
Thank you, Elisa.
And he's recently been getting more involved in helping like certain things for Sherman. So just a few meetings that I've been with him, he's a really good person.
Awesome.
Great.
That's great.
All right. Thank you.
He's very
for-
reliable, and he used to be the principal for my daughter's school, and he's really attentive and really good. So I think if he'd be on our team, it'd be a great, very strong candidate as well.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Linda. Thank you for joining us. We are in the part of the agenda where we're nominating people to the executive committee. And so far we have Gil nominated for president, Dr. Lourdes Blacksmith nominated for president-elect, Diana Ortega Arid nominated for treasurer, and we have a potential secretary with Rafael Villagomez, who Elisa will be reaching out to.
Okay.
So the next part would be to have the elections and everybody votes and agrees on the executive committee. But I have a question about the president-elect. Do we vote in Dr. Blacksmith, or do we ask her first if she accepts the nomination?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. We have to ask her because things could have changed. Who knows, right? So if she, just to confirm, yeah.
All right. So Gil and Diana, do you both accept your nominations?
I do, yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yay!
Yay, thank you so much. All right, so now we get to vote you in. Should we do them together? I
Sure.
don't know how to do it. So all those, do we need a motion? A motion to approve Gil Feliciano as the president and Diana Ortega Arid as the treasurer for 2022.
I move
I'll
that
second
motion.
that.
Woohoo, yes.
So Elisa motioned and Linda seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
All right. Now we break a glass and we celebrate that we have.
Let's do it.
Yay. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you. The next item in the agenda is the proposed bylaw change that Diana has been trying to bring to the board for a few months. So
Oh, before, I'm so sorry to interrupt, Diana. Can we vote on other board members to join us starting in January? So, and I understand, I guess I misunderstood. I thought you were just doing executive committee now and then a full board slate as well, so that we could send invitations. I'm thinking primarily for example, of Maria Borrero, who I've talked to a number of months ago, and she's excited to come on board as the scholarship chair, which means that she would need to have the January meeting on her calendar, which means that she should be elected, voted in this month, right?
Yeah, she
Okay.
would be voted in. It wouldn't be an election because the elections for the officers, but yeah, if somebody wants to make a motion for her to be on the board.
Are there
She's
any
on-
other additional people to bring
Mm.
on the board in addition to Maria? I don't know, but. Or should we just do one just for her?
Let's do one for her right now. We get that out of the way.
Okay. All right,
And I'll motion that we approve Maria Borrero to be on our board for the next fiscal year.
I'll second it.
as scholarship chair.
Yeah, it's the wards committee chair.
Elisa seconded. And all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sorry.
No, absolutely. She rocks it. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
Diana, do you want to share a little bit about the proposed bylaw change?
Yes, so I believe, and I'm digging for, do you have my email with a language text to share with the group?
Let me-
You're asking me if I'm okay, right?
let me
I'm
look up.
sorry?
Sorry, that was somebody else.
Oh, okay. So Diana, if you can look for the text, then I can free my brain up to talk about it instead of
Okay.
digging in my inbox. And I'm sorry I wasn't prepared with it right at the moment. My recommended bylaw change is to ensure that at least 50% of the scholarship committee is Hispanic. I have found that it is helpful and good, but challenging to review scholarship applications when we're asking about Hispanic heritage with people who are not necessarily Hispanic themselves and are not able to fully understand through no fault of their own. I mean, they want to give and they're good listeners. There was only a couple of times where I was worried about some of the assumptions being made, but they were short-lived. So I don't have any major concerns, and this is not a reaction to any major negative situation. However, that could change in future years if the volunteers on the scholarship committee are different people. And so based on those conversations, I just thought, it really would be helpful to make sure that since we're asking the applicants to be Hispanic, that we have reviewers, at least half of the committee who are reviewing their applications who are also Hispanic and can understand some of their information in context. So that's basically all it is.
I think that's a good idea. I appreciate you bringing that up. I think for me, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. One, what was Maria's take on that? If you talked to her about it as incoming chair, I'd like to get that. And second of all, for the general board, for everybody else, if you kind of like the idea of the amendment, should we make that applicable to, I guess, all the committees? Or is it just something that we need only for the awards committee? So those are my two thoughts.
Well, to answer your first question, the answer is yes. I brought it up with the whole committee. I took them out to lunch as a thank you a few weeks ago, and we sort of processed the whole scholarship process, and we got some good ideas down that Maria is going to run, you know, we took notes down and she's going to run with them for next year. And then I mentioned the bylaw changed, which they didn't even know about, but I just told them, just so you are aware, moving forward, it's very important to me and that this committee be at least 50% Hispanic, and they all shook their heads, completely understanding why. So they are aware, and Maria was fully supportive. I guess I have mixed feelings about how it applies to other committees. I think it really depends on the work in the committee, and maybe that's something the board can discuss. But again, because we're requiring the applicants for the scholarship programs to be Hispanic, I think it's important that the reviewers are also Hispanic to understand where they're coming from.
Okay, thank you.
I'm looking for the email and I cannot find it. I'm sorry.
I'll look for it now then, because it's important that for a bylaw change that we have the correct text up.
Does anyone else have any other questions or concerns?
Frankly, given an incident that happened maybe a couple of years ago, I think this is a very good idea and a very important idea, so that the experiences of Hispanics are better represented in the committee.
I found it actually not really right away, and I'm putting it in the chat. Although the underline doesn't show up in the chat. So if am I able to share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to now.
Okay. So let me, just so that you guys can see what is new and what is the addition. Okay, so if you guys can see my screen here, in bylaw changes, you strike through text when you want to delete something, and you underline text when you want to add something. And so I'm proposing adding the text, the awards committee shall be composed of board members and members of the organization with at least 50% of the total number of committee members being of Hispanic descent, including the chair. So that's an important part that I missed earlier, is saying that the chair has to also be Hispanic. The rest is, this stays the same. So it's just adding in that provision at the very beginning.
I agree with the change as well. Just thinking about, reflecting on what you said about how people who have the same experience, similar culture experience as the applicants would be more able to understand some of the challenges that they've gone through. I think I support the change. Anyone opposed to the change? Can we get a motion to approve the change?
I just want to clarify something, because I'm trying to read, which is, and just want to make sure, because the language almost made it sound initially that the intent was that when you're trying to come up with the 50% that you're including the chair, but later on it sounded like you were saying that you actually want the chair to be Hispanic, and those are two different things. I just make sure that the language is clear for if none of us are on the board at some point. So I just can't read what you wrote to be able to know for sure what you said.
Oh, I see. Is that, would others question that too?
Well, I don't know in the future if they might want to, if they're understanding that the bylaws are going to say that the chair has to be Hispanic, or they're just going to look at that as being, okay, when we're coming up with a 50% number, that the chair is included in the total number of committee members to make the 50%.
That's a good point, Jeanette. That's a good point, Jeanette. I would support the latter, not the former. Or I'd have to think more about the former, I guess, but definitely the latter makes sense to be at least half of the.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the stronger the stronger point or stronger wording.
Okay. So we can reword that here. To say, what would be the recommended edit?
Could it be at least 50% of the total number of committee members and the chair be of Hispanic descent or being of Hispanic descent?
I almost think you could actually just get away with, I mean, to me, that the chair is part of the committee. I might be wrong about that, but so you don't necessarily just say that, but maybe the and being, and the chair must be of Hispanic descent.
I agree. Delete the and the chair.
So with at least 50% of the total number of committee members being of Hispanic descent, and then add another sentence.
I don't think it's needed because the chair is part of the committee and it's
Exactly.
included in the total number of the committee members.
I do think there has to be a sentence that clearly says that the chair must be Hispanic.
So you do support then that you want the chair to be Hispanic?
That was my proposal
do.
too, because I think the chair really leads and heads the process and needs to understand why that Hispanic heritage part in the committee is present.
Yeah, I tell you, my concern is that right now we have the president and president-elect, but the only two that really are requiring to be of Hispanic descent. And no other chair is that required on our board. This would then require a third person on the board to be Hispanic. I'm not as comfortable with that part, especially if we can get the committee to be at least 50% Hispanic. I think that might cover any cultural challenges or issues we might raise, but you know, that's just my thought. I mean, let's continue to talk about it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. You're right, it's not required for anybody else except the president.
And the president-elect. The president-elect must be Hispanic.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, that's what I said, president and president-elect. Yeah. Okay, so then just this language with at least 50% of the total number of committee members being of Hispanic descent.
And sorry, and okay, we're not going to do that. Okay.
Okay, so is this the proposed bylaw change that we want to vote on? Any other changes or questions before we call for a motion?
So move that we approve this bylaw change as amended.
I second the motion. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Diana, I just thought of something. I just want to make sure I clarify. I apologize for going back, but it didn't occur to me till just now. Is Lulu, does she have dual heritage or is she Asian?
I don't know.
No, she's Mexican.
Oh, okay, because I'd gone to an event and she had talked about Asian heritage that she had. So I'm a little confused.
I'm pretty sure she's Latina also.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of funny because we have a lot of Asian in our family, so to me, it's not so unusual. I got a last name is Wong. There's a lot of, depending on.
I mean, technically, one of David's kids could be chair or chair-elect, but it's just after I had thought she was Latina, and then I was at this event, this Laotian event with her, and she made it sound like she was of Asian descent, so I got confused.
Totally understand. Is there, sorry to interrupt with this, but, Rafael asked me if there's like a, I guess, secretary position
There's
requirement.
a description.
role, A description, yes, that if you can send to me via text and I can send it to him or email it maybe.
Yeah, we'll share it with you via email, then you can send it to him.
And
So
if
just-
you can ask him too, if he wants to meet with me for coffee, I can give him all the good, the bad, and the ugly about it.
Yeah, I think that would be very nice because you'd be the one you should really
Yeah,
talk to.
Be happy to help him with that.
Okay,
to give-
I'll
All right. Thank you, everyone. So just to clarify, everybody motion to approve the proposed bylaw change for the minutes. All right, so we have about 12 minutes left, and I know some people have to jump up, so I want to ask your permission to switch a few things around in the agenda. I think going over the January board retreat, the proposed agenda is important so that everybody can have their opportunity to give input, and we also need to schedule the date as well as the location for that. So if that's okay with everyone, we're going to move to that part of the agenda. And I will add a link here for you guys. Well, actually, I'll just share my screen so that we can see the agenda. All right. So maybe we should get the date and location first before reviewing. Usually it's half a day or a full day retreat that we've done in the past. Are there any dates in January that would work best for people?
Look at a work week or weekend? Or any?
It's usually in the work week, but it's up to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Or how you want to meet.
I like Fridays for retreats, but definitely no Wednesdays.
Yeah, I don't work Fridays, so
Okay.
Fridays would be best for me, but I don't know about other people.
Fridays are good for me too.
I like Fridays.
Thank God it's Friday.
All right, so now the Fridays in January are the 7th, the 14th, 21st, and 28th. I don't know if you want to meet before the first general meeting. So the 7th or the 14th would be good dates.
I think it's a good idea if we meet before,
Yeah.
The 7th
So
will be
what-
very bad for me.
so we can present the new president.
I think that would be good.
So
Wanna
January
do-
7th.
Wait, Jeanette, didn't you say the 7th was not good for you?
That's correct. I have to prepare for the board meeting for the Monday after that. So I would have to be here all day.
Okay,
I'm available all Fridays in January.
me too.
Would the 14th work for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, works for me.
And do you want to, what time do you guys want to have the retreat at?
How many hours are we thinking? Is it like 4 hours, the whole day, 6, 8? What are we thinking?
Well, the agenda is with half a day in mind.
9 to 1, 8 to 12, I don't know.
Maybe 9 to 1. 8 is everyone okay with 9 to 1?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yes.
And then do you want to meet in person or do you want to, and if so, where?
I'd rather meet in person.
Me too.
I think that works best.
Does anyone have a location that would be available? We can also reach out to the library.
Gil, how about that place that we did? Remember we did with
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
really nice,
the chamber, we had a chamber retreat at the Fox Valley Christian Center in
Yeah. really nice
in
place.
St. Charles.
Okay,
It was, and the room was really cheap, to be honest with you.
That was the Fox Valley Christian Center?
Yeah, did you guys want me to maybe get a quote or approximate
nice.
cost?
I think
Alright,
it, because we haven't had our gathering, we haven't really done something for our board, and I think that would be a nice bonding. I mean, it just really helped us.
Mhm.
It kind of we took us away from everything and just helped us really focus.
Nice.
All right. So I have January 14 from 9 to 1, and Gil, you'll check in with the Fox Valley Christian Center to see if the location is available.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. So now we can just take a look at the agenda. I used an agenda from previous years, so it's just proposed. Anything can be changed or added to it.
Question.
Yes.
Are we gonna meet for Christmas? Like, just the board to do some exchange?
Oh,
gift
yeah.
exchange or something?
That would be nice. We need it.
I
Yeah.
know. Even if it's Martina room for maybe like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
maybe we can plan
Or-
something via text message.
A restaurant, on a weekday
I
when it's
think
not busy.
I'm in. Well, depending on the time and dates.
Yeah.
Linda, would you like to help us plan it? Just like send everybody a few dates and locations.
Yes. And actually, that's an application that we just did, with my group, Brittany, and my family. And we did the Secret Santa through email. So you log in and then you just type in your name. And the next day you'll get your Secret Santa name.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Es muy moderna. My goodness. Híjole.
Hey,
So
does anybody
cool.
object if we reach out to Paola? I mean, I'd love to send her off like one last time.
She will be in there.
She, okay, good.
Very
Yay.
nice idea.
She's
Yeah.
a
Thank you, Gil.
All right. Any changes to the agenda, or does it look good for you guys?
Looks good.
All right. So let me stop sharing my screen. And the next item is just to discuss the format for the EHN meetings, the general meetings that you want in 2022. We've been meeting virtually for the last 2 years. A lot of people are already meeting in person, just with like mask mandates and social distancing. But how are you all thinking the meeting should happen next year?
I'm ready to go back to in-person, but
Me too. And I've heard this time when we had our luncheon, I heard a lot of people were really excited to be there, and they're all for it to actually be in person. And it was like everybody I spoke to. I was really trying to be at the door, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful! You guys are doing this, and hopefully we're doing this more frequently." And I think it'll bring more people, and people are looking forward to this. So I think it's a good idea to start moving forward with it.
Yeah, I'm all for in person. Just like everybody's saying, I like seeing people, being around people. I just wonder about places that will lend their space. I only say that because Sherman, and I know that we posted monthly meetings before. Right now, we still can't have like a large gathering. So some places I'm sure they're fine, saying, sure, we would of course welcome X amount of people, but I just don't know how many. Maybe there's not that many, but at least for right now, Sherman still wouldn't allow a group of our size to come gather.
Is there a way that we can maybe on Wild Apricot where you can stop, from people to signing in? So then if we find a place and if they come back and say, well, it's no more than 40 people. So the first 40 can come, first serve.
I believe it
that's
does.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
yeah.
So then people can start coming in. Whoever they know they need to sign in. And that's how we can, and then whoever wants to do it through Zoom, they can still,
Exactly. And frankly, they're hosting, right? So if they have imposed some kind of self-restriction about groups, then that means that they know they can't host. I mean, nobody's forcing anybody to host.
It sounded like almost everyone chimed in about being in person. Diana, I saw you shaking or nodding your head. Yes. Okay. All right. So then the next part is to find the host organizations now that it will be in person, and there's that additional charge of providing lunch if you do want people to be eating together. I don't know. That's another conversation. Do you
Yeah,
want
it's
to
another
provide
one.
lunch?
I guess it means
Yeah.
socially distanced eating too.
I wouldn't
Then
oppose that.
it's funny again, I talk about the gatherings in the hospital, and in the past year and a half, I think we've only had, even just internally, one small one with our tables all spread out. Yet when it comes to eating, because we had snacks at this, people still eat. So it's kind of weird. I mean, I don't have to explain to anybody else. I know you all know this. It's just still that weird what you can or can't do. But if you're doing this, it's okay, like eating. So it's all still confusing.
Yeah, I mean, other than individual booths, restaurants, you walk into a restaurant, everybody's sitting down eating without masks. And you're always, you're welcome to distance if you want. Nobody would prohibit that.
So it sounds like this old format of providing lunch is something that would still be happening in 2022. Is everyone good with that?
I personally would support that. I mean, we always touted that as a benefit. Part of that whole $80 goes to a monthly lunch and what have you. And people continue to pay the $80 even though we're not providing lunch. But at some point, go ahead.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Can there maybe be a group that puts together some guidelines for EHN monthly meetings, something that would be shared with all members and with hosts together about being together in person again for EHN meetings? I think that would be helpful, and it would, I'm just thinking from the perspective of a member, it would help me have confidence in the organization that they've thought this through and that they have guidelines. And a lot of it depends on the venue each month too. And so I just think there's so many variables that it would be helpful for us to have some of it written down. And I forgot what my last thought was about that, but something in there like language that I put like in my after school program is, we're always following the latest CDC guidelines. Hopefully there's always going to be another variant, but there might be something that happens in January that we can't even foresee right now. And as long as we have that communicated out there, that we would follow those guidelines, also as an organization to protect ourselves, I think that would be helpful for everyone.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And maybe that's something, just standard text that needs to be added at the bottom of the e-blast invitations. But if a small group of board members wants to work on some guidelines for the host organizations, I think that would be good also. I know, Janet, I'm going to throw you in the pool here since you're the membership chair. Is that something that you could help with?
I'm sorry, I got interrupted. What did you say?
If you could help draft some guidelines for the host organizations.
Regarding COVID?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And
But
maybe
this is
Jose,
I was gonna say I can help out with it too.
Cool.
Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Anything else about the meetings, questions? Comments?
I'm excited to see everybody. That's all I gotta say.
Me too.
All right. So the next item in the agenda is to do a brief recap of the Thanksgiving luncheon. And I know some people have to jump off, but I think this is also a conversation that usually happens during the board retreat with the what went well. And there's some like going over the financials of the luncheon as well in January. But I just wanted to give some room to share things that went well and things that could be improved.
Diana, I'm sorry, I have to jump off, but instead of the only thing related to this topic that I wouldn't want to wait until January is the online directory. Did I miss a communication that went out to everyone with the online directory?
I know we did post it on the website, and I posted. Do you remember if you did send out any blasts?
I think I did, like you said, update it. 'Cause I know you had sent me the information. I can send an email out just saying this is it.
Where is it on the website?
Are you talking about the membership online directory?
I'm talking about the online directory that we had our sponsors give
Oh,
money to put advertisements
It's
into.
the membership directory. Mhm.
So where is that then?
So if you went to Thanksgiving, if you go to Thanksgiving luncheon, and then there's a click here, I mean, I can make or should be able to make a different tab.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think for a membership directory that should be spotlighted better.
I can make it as a full tab, like, you know, next to all these other ones like scholarship events, Thanksgiving luncheon. I could have one that just says, you know, online directory, and once
Okay.
they click there,
Right.
yeah.
I guess I'm confused. This directory, what is it? Just has the directory of our members, or is it sponsors?
So it does have a list of the current members, and it also has information about the scholarship winners, people who hosted meetings, a message from the president. It was
Okay.
like the program for
The
our
program
Thanksgiving
book.
luncheon. Mhm.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but my 1:30 is early.
Okay, thank
I
you,
have
Janet.
to- I'm sorry, bye. If I'm able to
Go back
get
to-
back, I will.
All right.
I'm only asking because using that nomenclature might confuse people with our member directory that you have access to as a member once you sign into your account.
Where is that?
Once you sign into your account, it shows up as in one of your, you know how it says view a profile. It shows up as one of the breadcrumbs at the top, but you have to sign in, and then you have access to the directory.
Is there a way, can we make it possible for people, anyone who goes to our website, to see a list of maybe at least organizations that are members, maybe not individual names, but at least organizations without having to sign in?
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose that'd have to be something with wild apricot.
Well, that's my recommendation. And also because I couldn't find it on the website, and that was one of my questions that I sent in all of the questions that I sent the day after the Thanksgiving luncheon, just because it was fresh on my mind. So I'm sorry, you guys can keep discussing, but I have to go too.
Okay, thank you,
All right.
Diana.
I'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Are we-
Goodbye, thank you.
Are we bringing things like cups or beverages for people, or nothing at all?
I don't think we plan to bring anything because we asked people to bring their own lunch.
Right, just doing the white elephant gift?
Mhm.
Okay, and we're gonna get a reminder to bring a white elephant gift? right?
It should be included in the reminders emails.
And I can send out an email.
Yeah, we need to
Right.
specify because we're just doing, is it like a gift, it's a brand new gift, or if it's something that we don't want, like a little more detailed about what exactly it is?
I think a
So is
reminder
it
would be
brand
good.
new or can it be used?
It can be
Um,
used, I
yeah.
think.
In
Yes,
the past, it's been a use. It could
yes.
be new, but it could be
You
something
or
that needs.
you, it's up to you.
Mhm.
Something you that you think that somebody else might be able to, or want. But also, since we're all gonna see each other on Wednesday, why don't we just do the paper then, right there? The names exchange
I like
For
that idea.
the. I
for
won't
us,
be
the board,
at
for the
meeting
board.
I won't be there on Wednesday, but somebody can pick a name and. say it.
Okay. Okay, okay.
All right.
I'll
Let's see.
save yours.
And
I mean, you're down the street from me, so I'll bring it over.
Yeah. thank
Okay.
you, Linda.
All right.
So Elisa has agreed to help with the white elephant exchange during the meeting. So thank you, Elisa, for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
we do that. It's fun.
All right. Any other questions about the event? Or things about the Thanksgiving luncheon that worked or that could be improved?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, we can end a little earlier, I guess, since we have lost a few people. Anyone have any other questions before we wrap up?
I have
No?
no questions, but I think I just want to thank everyone that did all the hard work on that Thanksgiving lunch, because I know that ain't an easy thing for, it seems to be
Also,
it's sometimes more complicated, but I think it went great. I had nothing but good out of it, and the attendance was awesome.
and
Yeah, it was great. All things considered, seeing it in person and being there was a great atmosphere all around.
also, if we can bring maybe 2 or 3 presents. In the past, David and I, we usually each bring like 5, only because a lot of people do forget at the last minute that they have to bring a present. So whoever is checking in, when they check in, they give us a present, we give them a number. That's how we did it in the past. So Elisa, maybe I'll sit in the front with you, and then we do that. And whoever doesn't have a present, we'll give them a number and grab one of our presents and put it on the table.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. A great idea. Agree.
Good idea.
That's it.
All right.
I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Muy great. See you guys soon.
All
Adios.
right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.